not, you're going to get the subcompact brushless set, the newest one from Milwaukee. These things, 1.7 pounds in your hand, very light, very comfortable. This is going to ultimately decide whether or not you should buy this, because this is what the pros are going to be using this for mostly. So this is not going to replace your 18-volt impact. It was never meant to. This is an everyday kind of carry item that you're going to have on you, and you're never going to put it down. So electricians, we're talking to you. HVAC, plumbing, not so much plumbing, but more HVAC and electricians, technicians, low voltage fire alarm, all that stuff. You're never going to be putting this down. So it needs to be light, needs to be compact, and it meets all the requirements there. So this is what we're going to do. This is going to be the deciding factor. If it can drive Tapcons, and I'm going to show you the difference of driving a Tapcon with a tool that is way too strong for the task versus not. And I may or may not keep up with the chat. We will see what happens. I can barely see what I'm looking at. The important thing is that you guys can see what we're doing. So I've got a solid stone here, and we're just going to go for it, and then we'll mark the bit here in a second. So here we go. We got to switch this to grab the 870, the 860, and a couple of other DeWalt's too. And hang on to your Modelo's, boys, because I'm trying to fall off the table. I got this for 80 bucks around the holidays. Sometimes Flex has good deals on Amazon. All right, now we got a vacuum. We're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way. Perfect. Now we're gonna use what everybody uses, these little flip bits here. So we're gonna be doing the 5/16 with a Tapcon here. And at first I wanna see if I can break the Tapcon. Now, note, the first thing is that this thing does not have a quick insert collet. So I'm going to ding points on this for not having one. It's an everyday carry tool. You're always going to have it on you. It's always going to be on your hip. You should be able to leave this on your hip and just push in whatever bit you need to. Here we go. Here comes the Tapcon. Let's see what it's got. And you can see right there, even when laying on it, it's not overly powerful. It's perfect for driving Tapcons. Let's see if we can strip out this Tapcon. And that's why this is the perfect tool. You're not breaking the Tapcon. Let's look at another tool that may or may not be better for Tapcon. So right now, this is as tight as this thing's ever going to get. It's fully seated. Let's look at the Surge. The Surge is also good for Tapcons. You're not going to ream it out, but the Surge weighs a lot more compared to this. This thing feels very heavy. This is very light. So far, this thing is winning in life for electricians because of the Tapcon drivability. I've driven probably more than anybody else with Tapcons on YouTube. I'd put money on that, man. You want to talk about any other tool channel, any other contractor on YouTube? I've driven more freaking Tapcons in my life. I'm talking 20s or 30s of thousands before. So this is the preferred method for me. You might use something else. This works very well. We're going to try this hole here. That might not have been a good hole. Uh-oh, we might have got lucky with that first hole. Let's see. This thing might be lacking some power. Let's find out. course, all the dust could have fallen in it too. And I'm going to do another hole for good measure. Yeah, you can see all the dust just falling in there. We're going to do one horizontal. Put one here. Don't worry, it wouldn't be a job site without concrete dust in your beer. Let me turn this upside down. Okay, let's try again. We're gonna get the DeWalt here in a second. Let's try this hole. Okay, so we can strip out. It does have enough power to strip out a Tapcon. It just doesn't do it very easily. And you're back to snug there. Let's go over here. Oh, beautiful. It was probably just because we put a bunch of dust. You don't usually drill so many holes next to each other in the field, when, especially if you're strapping, you're 8 feet apart. You know, it works really nice. For Tapcons, it's a really, really nice tool. Let's see what one of the bigger, badder DeWalts will do, and then I'm going to try to keep up with the chat. So let's get a 4.0 here, and I will get a 860 and an 870. All right, let's see here. Let me check the chat. No self-respecting apprentice electrician would ever be caught dead with that weak of an impact. Man, that's what we used back in the day. That's what we used. That's what we had. We had the first Gen M12, and it worked great. And that was only 800 inch-pounds. This one's pushing 1100. This has 1800, so we're going to see the difference here. I don't think we've used this hole yet. It still works just as good. The truth is, these Tapcons and the 3/16 is just a really good combination to be driving Tapcons anyway. There's your flaw and your failure mode on these flip bits. This is why I don't recommend this crap. But this is what everybody likes to use. So we're doing it on YouTube. So you can see we can break Tapcons here when they get stuck. And that's what I was trying to see, is do the Tapcons break with the bigger tools? And the answer is they absolutely do. I showed this to an electrician for an apartment complex that I was inspecting for. And his first response whenever I showed him this little compact, he said, yeah, but you can't dial it down. And you need to be able to dial these Milwaukees down because they're too powerful for Tapcons in some situations. And I said, man, this thing is so weak. You don't have to dial it down. It's got 1100 inch-pounds. It's kind of perfect. I'm going to try to find out for you. So here we are finding out for you. Let's see if we can get some horizontal. Flex SDS works pretty good. I don't mind telling you. Of course, we paired it with the four-sided Bosch there. Let's go over here. Okay. We should be able to just drive this without it being too much trouble. Yeah, there you go. So, perfect. Let's get the Milwaukee in here without the quick insert. As I say, it doesn't have a quick insert. I'm literally forgetting that it doesn't. That is such a problem. I don't know if I can get over that. Let's get a couple of Tapcons here. It's really nice for Tapcons. It really is. It's a really light impact. It's going to be great for self-tappers. It doesn't have any stupid modes. I hate modes on my impact, man. I used drills and impacts for too long without the modes. I really don't need them. Let's see what the drill's got, because we may as well. Little compact drill. I don't use drills to drive Tapcons for a couple of reasons. One is, well, let's find out. Let's find out why we don't use drills. Put it in speed 2 for safety. This thing might not even have power to worry about. Yeah, see, it just doesn't drive it the same. We literally pulled it out of the same hole. Doesn't even drive it. What's up with that? What is up with that? See, any other impact would have broken that Tapcon. I promise you. No, we just broke this down. So it's good for Tapcons. It has enough power to drive them. And I'll show you what happens if you use an impact that's too powerful for Tapcons. So here comes the perfect example, right? Sometimes they just get full of debris. So right now we're able to kind of sneak up on this. We're actually cracking the concrete, so it's not the tool that's too weak. But if you have too much torque, sometimes you can just snap the head right off. Let's see. Nope, we just spun it. We need more holes. I was afraid that was going to happen. We'll get a new one. We'll get a new one. Let's see. Yeah, so of course you got your modes on your impact, but if you're not careful, some of these impacts are just too strong for their own good. There's one thing I want to do before we run out of block, and of course I could just go grab another one. But there's one thing I want to do, and that is to mount like a washer or a box behind this. Because it's one thing to drive screws into wood and there not be any consequences because you don't risk breaking the head off. But when you're trying to mount boxes to stone is when you really start breaking the Tapcons. What's up, Mr. Morgan? We are probably going to grab one more stone, actually. Let's do that. Let's grab one more stone. Hang on. Don't tell anybody I own a broom. Okay. Let's get a box. Here's a box. Let's get the dust out. Here's a box. Let me know if this is too much light. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Looks like it's not. It's a little bright. All right, so yeah, that's nice. So that's a, what, 10-pound block probably. It's not that heavy. You can see where the box doesn't even rotate. Tapcons are the way to go when you're fastening into concrete. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's just one Tapcon. Let's see what happens if we use our DeWalt, and we're going to use this hole up here untouched. We're going to get a new Tapcon. It's just as good. What I like about this new impact is that it's harder to break the Tapcons. So that's like the last thing you got to worry about sometimes whenever you're mounting really big ones. All you really need is just the torque, just enough to keep the screw moving. And when it gets in a bind, sometimes these things snap like pixie sticks as soon as they get in a bind. But with this impact, seems like we can really just keep going. I think we might have stripped it out now. Yeah, we broke it that time. They're easy to strip out if you give them too much torque. So this is where having a weaker impact is going to help you out just a little bit. You can see where we can clearly give it too many bumps and still be just as solid as ever. So it does Tapcons. That's basically a must. And then of course it does, and this is a 1/4 inch screw, so it's got plenty of torque to do everything in between. If we can do 1/4 inch aggressive threaded Tapcons into 2x4, it can do metal stud, all kinds of things. So pretty nice. Compact. Belt hook has good center of gravity. And man, compared to the Surge, it's like night and day as far as the weight. Like it really is. This thing just feels all kinds of heavy up here. It's a really good feeling impact. This is going to be the deciding factor whether or not you should buy this or not. This is definitely a want, not a need. If you get the Gen 3, it's going to be way more versatile, but you're probably going to have to bump it down into speed too. There's no doubt about that. But it's super light, man. So definitely more of a want than a need. Let's revisit the drill real quick. I like the drill because it's flat. The chuck is real flat. It's kind of cool. Just use the 22 cal nailer. I just gave one of those away. I had a 357, a DX 357 from Hilti. And, you know, the whole contamination story. I just gave one away to a random guy. Came to measure some windows for the house. And I was like, here you go. because the pawn shop wouldn't even give me $50 for it, even though I think I spent like $750 on it back in 2008. All right, can Speed 2 drive a Tapcon? Yes, it can, and this thing loves to switch out of drill. I don't mind telling you, it kind of drives me crazy. You can see where it's timing out, so it can barely. So this is great for Tapcons because it doesn't have enough power to really full send them. That's it right there. So that's interesting. I need another flex battery. Just some more Tapcons. These Tapcons use a 3/16" bit, and that's them there. Let's get back. Let's do some more drilling action here. Drill right here. That's all it's got. No balls on this drill at all. Let me show you. Speed 2. I really don't like this climb bit. Barely. I mean, and that's only 1.25" screw. Now you want to switch it to Speed 1. And this is why you see how it's using Speed 2 this whole time. Watch what happens when you put this in Speed 1. Watch what happens with this block. You ready? Why do we need that when we could just stay in Speed 2 and be safe? With the finger on your trigger. That's why I like Speed 2. Speed 2, you get a, I just scratched the piss out of my table. You get a higher torque drill with Speed 2. So I'll show you that now with a DeWalt. Here's an 800. Let's put a Tapcon in here. We are in drill. That was good on DeWalt. Milwaukee guys like that. I know you did. All that power, but look, the brick stays. Put this in Speed 1, this thing's going on the floor. Let's go to a different screw. Put it in Speed 2 with plenty of torque. You got plenty of power in Speed 2. You don't need Speed 1. Like almost ever. Like ever. There's almost no good reason to put a drill in Speed 1. You're really better off buying the drill that has the power for the task that you need and leaving the sucker in Speed 2. That way you can do things like this. Every time. Tearing this thing up too. We can get a bigger screw too. So that's Speed 2. You put it in Speed 1. That's when you start to break stuff. But yeah, so my thoughts on this would be speed 2, it doesn't have any balls at all. It's like, it's barely useful. They could have geared speed 1 down to less power, gave speed 2 a little bit more usable torque, because you can't even drive a Capcom hardly without it timing out on you. So this thing's going to go through batteries pretty quick just for that reason, because it doesn't have very much power. You're pushing the tool to the absolute limit. And there goes again, flipping itself into whatever mode that is. Man, that's really easy to flip around. There's no actual like setting for it either. It doesn't really click. Like, listen to the click, and then it's like there. You spin this around and there's kind of a click, but it doesn't really click out. This clicks every time. This clicks on, doesn't click out. Barely clicks on. Doesn't even click, actually. Oh, it clicks. Okay, so that's weird. So once you come from here, it will click. But then when you come out, it does not click. So it just likes to sit on 12 all the time. See where we're timing the drill out. Let me check the chat. Rather a spade bit through wood. Speed ain't gonna help shit in concrete. You need the bang. Yeah. Can you 5/8 spade bit in speed 2? No. No, you can't. Let me get one. You can't do anything in speed 2. There's not very much we can do in speed 2. Let me grab a bit over here. Let me see where a 5/8 is. I got 1.25 inches. I don't know if I have a 5/8 speed bit. I got some other bits here that we can try. We can try these. I don't even keep 5/8 around because I usually use a 3/4. Here's a 1/2 inch twist bit. What the hell was that? Oh, that's nice, Milwaukee. I like that. Thank you. There we go. It happens. Hang on. Okay, now I'm really against this, but we're going to do it anyway. I don't like using bigger batteries on these tools because you may as well get the full size Exhibit A, right? So by the time that you get a compact drill and then you put this battery on it, there's no point in having a compact anything. But for the purpose of this, we're going to try and give it the best chance to drill as much as it possibly can. In speed 2, 1/2 inch bit. Let's just go right here. And I'll get you guys a better view here. I thought it was, but this is actually a worse view. Let me turn the light on. Here we go. That's it. That's all you get. Let's go over here. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just keeping the drill still. So even when we baby fed it, it still times out. It's crazy. And then, oh, look, the clutch, or the chuck. Listen to it. It's not a very good chuck either, actually. If it's going to keep doing that. Oh, good. It switched itself back into my favorite mode. And then it times out again. So for comparison here, basically the drills are the same size now. We're in drill here. My tripod is currently fighting me. That's only that much trigger. We can go full bore. Here we go. I'll give it all it's got. And then we can really bog it down. But just drilling normal, it has no trouble. So they messed up speed 2 for us. It'll do speed 1. So we'll do speed 1. But then you're back to, you know, unwieldy power. The benefit of this drill versus this drill, though, is that there was very little grab, because this thing's really powerful. So this is a very, very powerful drill for the size. Probably the best in its class for power. But you see the difference here where my hand is able to just get a better purchase down here. And it's, I mean, that's where you're sitting. Also, my buttons aren't getting covered by my fingers, right? You look here, it's the way that it's angled and the center of gravity, you just don't have as much control because you're grabbing kind of skinnier here. So you get a full grab where I can pretty much put my fingers together when squeezing the trigger slightly. And then you look here, and I've got to squeeze a lot more of that trigger to get my fingers together there, and maybe even adjust this finger to grab it. But you can see you just don't have as much control. This drill is really powerful for not being able to get all the way around the handle. So if we pop this in speed 1, make sure it's still in drill, and we go with right here. Oh, damn, it can't even do that? Really? Well, that's just a sad day. Let's try again. Let's go right here. I've only got a thumb. That's all I'm pushing. That went a different hole. We need more. We need more real estate to drill into. That's what we need. I also got to tighten my tripod just a little bit. There we go. Thumb again. See how it's kind of like biting as I'm drilling, and then it's like getting another bite of torque, and it's kind of bouncing all around. You actually get a lot more control when the drill doesn't stop and then try to re-grab, because when the drill stops and tries to re-grab, the torque kind of accelerates. It's the difference of giving a brand new trigger pull versus just a constant trigger pull with the power that you need, where that thing's constantly biting for more power. It just bounces the tool all around. But yeah, this drill, I don't see how it's really that useful. Let's try something smaller. We still have 4 bars. Back into our limbo mode there, right there. Okay. Okay, let's switch it to speed 2. So we're in speed 2. Got all 4 bars. We are in drill. That's it. So it doesn't even sink the screw completely. Now it's sunk. If we compare it to the fuel, which is a lot heavier, and I really don't like, but it has a lot more power. That is warm. Here we go. And it sinks it. Yeah, you can see it just sinks it completely. So yeah, speed 2 needed to be geared to more useful. The chuck has some catch issues. This thing slips constantly. You can see we're back in that mode without me even realizing it just now. I looked down. So now that's a new mental thing. I got to remember to make sure this thing's in drill. That kind of drives me crazy. I like where the buttons are. So the buttons are a huge improvement. The weight is a huge improvement. The buttons here, if you've ever like grabbed one of these tools, been working in like a closet mounting shelves or something, right? And you've had my tripod is like really fighting me tonight. Yeah, so you grab this thing with your left hand like this, right? And you've got a bit on it. And I got to get a screw. Let me grab a screw. Yeah, so instead of able to use our right hand, we had to use our left hand to reach in here. So we grabbed our impact with our left hand, which we're already really not used to using. And we're going to drive 9 times out of 10. This finger here pushes this button. And then you go to drive because you think you're about ready. And when you go to drive, nothing happens. And that's what happens with this. Because if you look here, I'm going to turn this around right now. This is my finger sits. We're covering that button right now with my finger. There it is there. So just kind of naturally, that's where your hand kind of sits while you're using this. And it sits over that button. So it's a huge improvement where they've got the button now because it sits right above your finger. Even with my finger all the way riding up here, if I want to, it still doesn't cover the button. Even when you're really on this thing, the button's in a different location than it's ever been. So it's got a lot of upgrades, but man, it is really, really weak. But it's good enough for everyday carry. It's good enough for electricians for 90% of what you're doing. It drives Tapcons. It's going to do all the wall anchors. It's going to do all your form boards. If you're building a lot of things, you're pouring concrete, you're trying to do some form work, whatever you're doing, it's going to do that as well. So and truth be told, whenever I went to go pull this, I couldn't remember if the battery was on it or not. Like, that's how light this thing is. It feels like a toy. So all in all, it's a pretty solid, powerful impact for its size, but it's nowhere near being able to replace your 20-volt impacts like the Gen 3 is. All right, let me check the chat. Would I be able to give you a brief breakdown one day, just what to buy and basics? Yes, it is brushless. So it's brushless right there. It is brushless. That's the only reason why it's so powerful. The basics is so hard to it's brushless, but it's not fuel. So fuel, bigger, badder, heavier. This is the Surge though. Non-fuel, very, very light and compact. And actually lighter than this DeWalt, which I didn't know was doable until recently. Got an arc welder and a small flux core. Haven't used one either. Got it. Very dope. Price $200 for the kit. $150 by itself. This is going to be part of kind of an ultimate carry video for electricians, because I'll show you right now why this is nice. It just fits. Sometimes you're making a video, man, and you got to decide whether you just want to get to the point or you want to cut some important stuff out. This, in my opinion, there's a lot of tool bags out there. I do a lot of tool bag reviews. This is probably the best one with the best pockets, but it's $215. So I don't like to show it all the time. I like to show the cheaper alternatives. And the Vitos are... The pocket layout on the Vitos is undeniably good, right? So, but the Vitos don't have storage like this. Without, like, see how you can compact this? Like, you can compress this. You can't do that to a Vito. So, the fact that I can do this is actually a benefit when it comes to construction. Just fitting it in the gang box with other guys' tools, cramming wherever you can cram it, laying it down. This pocket crushes and it holds your tools naturally. The Vitos just stay open and your tools fall out. This pocket right here actually fits, and this is a pretty standard size pocket, actually fits this drill in there. So if you've got the Klein pouch, you got the Milwaukee pouch, this is a very standard pocket, and it fits your impact in there. This pocket's a little bit bigger and it fits even easier, so I chose a smaller pocket. I wasn't trying to cheat you guys. This pocket is definitely smaller because I can fit, we can barely get this drill in here. You can see where it's like really struggling. But this drill fits right in here pretty easily. So this is definitely the bigger pocket. But until now, everyone had to carry their Milwaukee like this in these pockets, because there's no way in heck this thing is ever going to fit. Like, it's just that much bigger. But yeah, this is the ultimate, what do they call this one? The ultimate electrician, I think is what they call it. And it's definitely got the best layout. I mean, you can get your number books in there. You got your drill bit holders. You got all your extra stuff in here in a little satchel. It looks kind of stupid at first, but I think nowadays it's normal for men to carry purses, so I think they went along with that. You got your channel lock slot, but you can see the fraying already, right? This is something that you can expect from bags like this. This is only going to last you 5 years tops, and it's going to be falling apart. But it's still the best pocket design that money can buy. Is it the smartest purchase? It depends what you're doing, man. For me, I I'm a tool enthusiast, and even whenever I wasn't making YouTube videos, I was always a tool enthusiast. So I would buy something like this, happily carry it, have the best layout, have the best setup, and just buy another one every 5 years and not care. So if that's you, but then you can see where the pocket layout is like just freaking awesome on this side, because we can take your clines here. You can get another pair of clines back there if you wanted to, and then you can get another pair of clines here. I mean, you just fit things for days in here. That's a long screwdriver, but there we go. These are more shallow, some of them are deeper, some of them more shallow for control screwdrivers. But yeah, when it comes to carrying every day, this is a factor. So it's relevant with pouches, how it's going to fit, how you're going to carry it. Just put $43 in busting. Pocket each year. By the time it breaks loose, you have $215. Yeah, exactly. Got on late. Let me go on Roku and see where I'm at. Yeah. Freaking love your M12 fuel impact. Yeah, man, that Gen 3 is a beast. Learn alignment work, not just commercial residential. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you need the bigger impacts for that. No doubt. Use a tough build drill holster to hold your 12 volt impact. Yeah. I've got that one somewhere else. I think I know which one you're talking about. The 3-tier bag from these guys is pretty cool though. Yeah, let me see here. Take that, DeWalt. Hang on, let me flip this camera around. Aha, hang on, we are attached with a cord. I gotta turn this light off, it's too much light. That's better. Let me flip this camera one more time. That's too close. That's too far away. Yeah, okay. So I think this whole rig is like $150 and it's leather. So at some point I gotta make a hybrid video of this because it is nice. Let me see if I can get it on without destroying it too much, because it falls apart pretty quick with the leather loops, right? I think the 3-tier pouch here is probably one of the best 3-tier pouches I've ever used. Let me drop this down a little bit. I gotta turn off this light too. Okay. All right, so put that on there. Okay. So this pouch here would probably get swapped out for this one here, with just how many tools you can fit here and all the pockets and everything. And then you get the 3 kind of ones in the front there. And then this pocket here, I'd probably switch out with this 3-tier here, because this 3-tier has these pockets. I've never seen a 3-tier with these pockets before. So this is like thick thick leather compared to the DeWalt. And you've got, hey, you found a pin. You got that deep there. And then you've got that deep there. And then you've got like a huge pocket. I'm trying to get you to understand how big this pocket is. This is an 860. That's an 860. Here's a Gen 4 Milwaukee. And here's the compact. It's a big pocket. So you can put your Vito right here. So let me go get the Vito. What, we just got a super chat? I am trying to scroll and see it. Hang on. Walking tool chest. Tools of Big Josh, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Let me go get my Vito, and then we're going to stuff it in here. So this is my Vito already ready to rock, just in case somebody calls. You got your beater here with the reamer. You got your LVD2 knockoff Pica pen. Insulated now Kleins. They got the wire strippers, not the wire strippers, the wire crimpers, and the actual fish tape puller. We got the larger diagonals that are like huge. And then just all the regular stuff, right? Yeah, so that fits right there. That's actually pretty nice. So this pouch can just be whatever. But then I've also got this one. This one kind of competes with the Vito because this is the freaking Mellow Tough for like 20 bucks. And it carries just about everything you need too. So you've got screwdriver, driver for trim out, screwdrivers for trim out, troubleshooting. So you got that too. Yeah. I don't know which one I like more even, because you could buy 4 of these before you can buy one of these Vitos. Like the Vito's nice and all, man, but it is very bulky. But if you want organized storage and you look down and your tools have a spot everywhere that they're going to actually fit with no worries, it's hard to beat this thing. $100 though. Austin Sparky, he ain't reading chat though. I'm trying. Sparky, just wanted to chime in and say I started my first day as an electrical inspector today. I used you for a lot of resources and support in the process. Dude, email me. Email me, conductivewood@gmail.com. I might even give you my phone number. Email me, Sparky. We can nerd out, dude. And man, I appreciate that. Thank you, Apache. And Big Josh. Russian nesting tools in pouches and belts and bags and boxes and chests. Yeah, that's great. Are you doing them all? What kind of inspector are you? Oh man, this light's gonna not be good. There we go. What kind of inspections are you doing? Are you commercial or residential? Are you doing pools? This thing will not stay today. I need another tripod. Dang. ES1 for now. I'll be doing it all. Nice, nice. So ES1, I don't know what ES1 is. I'm more familiar with the, hang on, I got to get this tripod from around this cord. That's why it's constantly pulling down. There we go. E1, ICCs. So ES1's probably the, don't need a lot of tools when you become an electrical inspector. You do when you do side jobs, man. I go to other cities and do side jobs. I can't do work in my city. When I hired on, they're like, we have one rule. Now they have two rules. One is I can't film on site. But when I first got on, they only had one rule, and that was no electrical work in the city. So now they got two rules. No filming in the city and no electrical work in the city. Conflict of interest. Oh, electrical safety inspector. Oh, that's pretty cool. Don't watch this channel. Electrical safety inspector. Dang. Yeah, NFPA 70E. I've done a lot on that. I did infrared for 2 years, so you guys wouldn't think it. But I kind of approach it with like the first man up rule, right? So, you ready to eat?
Yeah, for an hour now.
I thought you were eating without me.
No, you said you were going to be 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was the plan. Okay. We better go. I have to call you Nighthawk. All right. Come on, people. Everyone can afford $1.99. Yeah. I'm sure you guys can. That's up to you guys. Man, my wife is ready to eat, though, so I would urge you not to hang off until the next stream because I'm fixing to get out of here, man. I appreciate all the support, though. Fent. George Doyd. Yeah. It's part of electrical inspector. Is in my state residential on up to hospitals. Oh, okay, okay. That's cool. Hit me up, dude. Hit me up on my email, and I'll send you a bunch of resources. Yeah, any way I can help, man. That's where it's at. Just helping people, and that's what the channel's for, dude. I've got way too much knowledge here to not share it. Technically, you can't do any work other than family unless you're a licensed EC. So in Texas, if you're doing supervision underneath a master, all you need is your wireman. So you can be a wireman, you can be a journeyman. You could put signs in as a sign electrician. You can do pools as I think it's an appliance installer, actually, which is kind of crazy. Appreciate it, Jamie. Why do all electricians wear shirts like that? I just bought this shirt, man. That's just what we wear. It's light, and they don't tear, and it protects your back from the sun on the collar. If you're outside, you're better off wearing a long sleeve shirt like this than you are short sleeve you know, that breathes better. You're better off wearing this to protect your everything. Give that guard dog a belly rub for you. Yeah. What's up, Kona? I know, believe me, I'm sunburnt. Yeah. What's up, Black Gecko? You can go from pro to no all in no time. Yeah. There's, man, you don't even realize how much there is to looking kinda. Okay. It's probably a dude. Let's see here. That's not true. Even a roofer in short sleeves, not a good one. Yeah. I never go outside of OSHA regulations. I went climbing harness to protect your life. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a dude. Right on. So I always thought it was funny. You have to tie off, you know, the lanyard 6 foot long and you're standing on a 6 foot platform. And it's like, you're still going to hit the floor, you know? They're like, yeah, but you got to tie off. What you meant with side work? Oh, I got you. Yeah. Texas electrical laws are very foreign to me. We have a state number, an ET number, and the state CA California trainee. Makita dude up here, probably. Yeah, California, man, has a different way of doing it. Makita guy alert, yeah. All right, guys. We got to get, but the takeaway on this impact, which is still a little bit warm because we pushed it beyond its regular design, I guess you would say. It's not really made for doing all that craziness. It's good to carry every day. It's light enough to carry with you all the time. It's got a good center of gravity. Sometimes, I've been saying this for a while, Rigid does extra plastic down here, and then because they know their battery is going to be consuming that space anyway, so they're like, we may as well just put some plastic down here. And it makes sense. Milwaukee could easily get us a little bit more plastic and put the belt hook down here and make this thing a lot better to carry, you know, if the hook was here. One of the first things I did on the first gen, this one doesn't have it either. They used to have vent holes on the side for the M12s. I took a penny and I took apart a mini, like a Minilec strap. And I took my Milwaukee apart and put the penny on the inside, stuck the bolt through the vent hole, drilled the hole out, and then took a Makita clip because Milwaukee barely existed back then. So as soon as M12 hit, I was putting Makita clips on my Milwaukee for a couple of years. And I had a better hook that actually it went beyond the motor housing and it hooked around. We've got this garbage now. They're slowly improving it. Before it used to be like really sharp, and now it's flatter, but it's fine, but I would still rather put this in my pouch than try to carry this on my hip with this hook. Well, I did call him Spiffy when he had his rig on, but cute is over the line. That's great. Okay. Yeah, it does Tapcons. It's good enough for an electrician every day. It's good enough for HVAC every day. It's really, really good for HVAC every day. Zipping small screws in. It's really light. There's nothing lighter than it for the power that you get. It's really, really impressive for what it is. But it's nowhere near the Gen 3 as far as power. It's not even it's not even in the same category. This is like Ryobi versus M18 when you're comparing their best impact. Like it's way off from being competing with a 20 volt, where the Gen 3 can compete with the 20 volts and can replace your 20 volt if you're an electrician. This won't replace your 20 volt if you've got to do bigger stuff, right? as an electrician, you don't do bigger stuff. Everything's pre-threaded. Tapcons and self-tappers is really all you're doing. So, yeah, that's your deciding factor there. Grip feels good. You can almost grab. I still got to actuate the trigger, but I can almost grab. I can touch my fingers without pulling the trigger completely. So my fingers are touching right now. There you go. Better go eat, yeah. Before wife gets hangry. Yeah, I didn't know she was waiting on me. Just a note, I needed to be hooked in front to get around the tower. Safety harness would not work. All right, guys, we're going to get. We'll see you guys. Appreciate you. See you.